Community Hospital. And now, here's your host, Cindy Pollard, President and CEO of the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today. On today's show, Marcia Sutton, who's the Senior HR Consultant from Barrett Business Systems, is going to join us to talk about the termination process. Then Greg Gallion from Houchin Community Blood Bank will stop by to chat about employer or workplace-based blood donation programs and their importance to the region. But first, we're going to take a look at some news you can use. I had to adjust the earpiece cable there, so bear with me just a moment. 8 Minute Energy Renewables, LLC, recently announced the signing of engineering, procurement, and construction agreements with Gerlicher Solar America Corporation for 3 of its solar projects located in Kern County. The projects and the associated subsidiary that wholly owns them are the 16.66 megawatt Redcrest Solar Farm, 26.66 megawatt Hayworth Solar Farm, and the 15 megawatt Woodmere Solar Farm. The 3 projects, collectively known as the Redwood Solar Farm, have signed power purchase agreements with Southern California Edison, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, and the City of Palo Alto Utilities. 8 Minute Energy previously signed a large generation interconnection agreement with PG&E and Cal ISO Corporation, so construction is about to begin. GoBiz received 286 applications requesting $329 million from businesses seeking California Competes tax credits to add jobs in the state. GoBiz, the California's Office of Business and Economic Development, recently released the preliminary numbers for the most recent California Competes tax credit application period, which closed on October 27th. This is the second fiscal year of the program and the first of 3 application periods scheduled for fiscal year 2014-2015. For this fiscal year, GoBiz is authorized to award $151.1 million in tax credits, of which 25% is reserved for small businesses. These allocations will be determined over the 3 award periods scheduled for January 15th, April 16th, and June 18th. GoBiz will evaluate the most competitive applications based on the factors required by statute, including total jobs created, total investment average wage, economic impact, strategic importance, and more. The California Competes tax credit is part of the governor's economic development initiative, which Governor Brown signed into legislation in 2013. In the first year of the program, $28.9 million was awarded to 29 companies, projected to create approximately 6,000 jobs and generate over $2 billion in investment across the state. By January of 2015, GoBiz will post on its website the list of the applicants that they are recommending for the awards. The final decision on whether to award a tax credit to a particular company will be made by the California Competes Tax Credit Committee at a meeting scheduled for January 15th. The Maddie Institute, Univision Local Media Fresno, and the California Channel launched a new weekly half-hour public affairs television program entitled Informe Maddie, focusing on state and San Joaquin Valley politics. This new Spanish-language show is airing on KFTV Univision 21 on Sundays from 7 to 7:30. KernCog is seeking nominations for the 2014 Kern Council of Governments Regional Awards of Merit program. KernCog is asking for your help in celebrating those individuals, projects, and programs that have made the quality of life a little better throughout the Golden Empire. Nominations for the 2014 Regional Awards of Merit program are open through Friday, November 28th. You can find the criteria, rules, and nomination form on their website at kerncog.org/regional-awards. Valley fuel prices have dipped towards $3 and even lower at some stations. Several gas stations in Fresno and Bakersfield are selling regular unleaded gasoline below $3 a gallon. Gas prices are dropping a lot, but the average price in Fresno and the Visalia, Tulare, Porterville area is still $3.30. Let me get that right, for a gallon of unleaded. AAA of Northern California says don't expect to see most stations selling below $3 anytime soon, and the gas stations that are selling for $2.97, they say, are outliers. Prices have been dropping for several weeks, pushed down by plummeting crude oil prices and an abundant supply of oil produced in the United States. Consumption of gasoline is down as drivers have cut how much they drive, and more fuel-efficient hybrid and electric cars populate the roadways. California has already switched to the less expensive wintertime blend of gasoline, and there's been no major storms or refinery problems that would push prices back up. The union representing many of the employees of Save Mart supermarkets announced a tentative contract agreement with the Modesto grocery chain Monday, calling the pact a win-win that benefits labor and management alike. Although it took a year of negotiations for the grocery chain to reach a deal with Local 8 of the United Food and Commercial Workers in Roseville, the agreement could signal a period of relative labor harmony in the Northern California supermarket industry after a prolonged period of upheaval. Local 8 represents employees in the Central Valley. Save Mart confirmed the agreement and added that it also has a deal with Local 648 in San Francisco. However, Local 5 in San Jose, the third bargaining unit representing Save Mart employees, hasn't made a deal yet. And in a statement posted on its website last week, Local 5 indicated that contract talks still have a far way to go. For the first time since the state enacted kindergarten legislation in 1891, the California children have to be 5 years of age by September 1st to enroll in kindergarten. The new cutoff date follows years of efforts in the state legislature to move the date students were eligible for kindergarten to be in line with at least 20 other states with a September 1 cutoff date. Joining me in the studio now is Julie Parsons, the pre-K and kindergarten specialist from the Kern County Superintendent of Schools. Good morning.
Good morning, Cindy.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Well, what's been the reaction so far to this new kindergarten cutoff date? Are you hearing anything?
Well, actually, I'm very much involved in this process for Kern County. The reaction has been different depending on who you talk to. Teachers who have taught kindergarten feel like this is a really good thing for children. It gives those younger children who would have gone into kindergarten, basically they're 4 years old from September to December. It gives them another year of growth.
Okay.
For parents, it's been a bit confusing. And for districts, it hasn't been an easy process because it is such a limited group of children. And for some of our smaller districts, that has been a real challenge.
What makes it confusing for the parents? Is it, do I start them? Do I not start them? What happens if they do an extra year of transitional kindergarten? Is that what's causing the confusion for them?
A lot of parents currently who have children who would have been eligible to start kindergarten under the old regulations, they're thinking that their children are maybe staying back a year. And I'm not sure in California we've done a good enough campaign to help educate parents on the value that this will have on their youngest children, giving them that opportunity to, especially if it's their first year of school, to get to know their teacher, to learn about routines, to understand what expectations are in the classroom. So many of our children come to school with that don't have that.
Without that preparation, really.
Right. And so really, this legislation, when it was enacted, one of the premises was to help children with that social emotional balance that they need going into the rigor of kindergarten. Kindergarten's different
It is.
than it
is.
used to be. And so there's a different expectation for children. So some of our younger ones, it was a challenge for them. So giving them that gift of time to get familiar with the classroom, to get familiar with the teacher, to learn how to interact with other children.
Do you see that will make a huge impact on the kids as well as the schools?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Giving children that amount of time before they get into that rigor that we've talked about. As a child development, with a child development background, I understand that children have to go through certain stages of development before they're ready to engage in any kind of structured activity. So the more time we can give them to grow and learn about just being in a different environment and being away from home. Now, some children come with a lot of experience, maybe a preschool background, and so, they might be at a different stage even if they're at the same age.
Right.
So it's really about helping children develop those basic skills that they need before they move into kindergarten.
Okay, so that they can be successful when they get there.
Absolutely.
So is a fixed cutoff date the best way to determine which children are ready for kindergarten?
That's a difficult question, because there has to be some kind of guideline for districts to follow and for the state to follow. However, we know that children come to our classrooms with backgrounds that are very diverse. They come with a lot of experience, a lot of language, and then we have some children that come, this is their first time, maybe their English is a second language for them. So the age is a factor in that we need the guidelines, but it doesn't necessarily tell us where a child is developmentally.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and hopefully there will be an education campaign around it to help parents understand what it is that you already know about why they should have some type of an additional either transitional period or greater preparation. So thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
being here.
Thank you.
I'm Cindy Pollard with the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce. You're watching Strictly Business. We're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, Marcia Sutton is going to talk to us about the termination process. Stay with us. We'll be right back.